You are once again welcome to Matter Startup. We're going to be looking at the concept of data collection, and but before then, there is a need for us to actually have a proper definition of what we refer to as statistics. Even though I believe I talked about it in my first video on my YouTube channel. What is statistics? Statistics can simply be defined as a set of numerical data. It's, as you may have it, there are various definitions that can suffice for that purpose. And one of the definition again is that statistics can be defined as a what? As a tool that converts data into what? Into information. The tool that converts data into an information is referred to as what? As statistics. And to have a more information-packed definition, we may need to recline to these acronyms referred to as the cost part. The cost part. Now, what is the cost part? The C stands for your collection, the O stands for organization, your S stands for selection, your P stands for your presentation, A is for analysis, and D is for drawing out of what? Of useful conclusion. Now, if I was to give all of this in definition, you'll be having it to be that statistics can be defined as a collection of data, the organization of data, the selection of data, the presentation of data, the analysis of data, and the drawing out of useful conclusion for the purpose of data analysis. And for the sake of this definition, we now discover that statistics has basically two types, which includes the descriptive statistics, and the next part is called the inferential statistics. In our upcoming video, we're likely to look deeply into these two massive branch of statistics. But today, we're going to be discussing and looking into data collection. And on the face of it, it might appear that the collection of data is the first step for any statistical investigation. But in a scientifically prepared statistical inquiry, the collection of data is by no means the first step because we embark upon the collection of data for a given statistical inquiry. It's actually impressive to examine carefully the point I'm going to be stating in the following. They are actually they are preliminaries to data collection. Before we can actually set out to collect data, we must consider some basic factors, unless after considering data, we discover that you have just collected debris, data that are not needed for any purpose. So, the first thing we have to consider is the objective of your study. Why are you embarking on this project? The moment you are unable to define the objective, then I assure you that there is no project or there is no research to be made. The objective stands first, and the next is to check for the scope of the inquiry. And following it is considering your statistical unit to be used. What are your statistical units to be used? For instance, you want to know the reason why students fail mathematics, the reason why students fail, let us say, MTH 101. You want to know the purpose, the reason why they fail it. You won't go to the garage to ask the conductors or the driver why students fail such. So there is a need for me to have a definite and a well-defined statistical unit that will participate in my research. Then the next is to know the source of my information. Do you understand the source of my information? Where is the legit or the valid place where this information can be sought? And followed by the method of your data collection. What are the methods by which this collection can be made? The degree of accuracy aimed at in the final result, and the type of inquiry that we want to embark on. These are the things we need to consider before we actually embark on any research whatsoever. And when it comes to data collection, there are basically two ways that we can get data. The first is either you recline to your census method or your sampling technique method. Now, what do I mean by census method? We are talking about your census method. Now, the census method is actually talking about the total enumeration of your of your samples in a population. The moment you incline to it, then you are talking about 100% sampling of your population. And we know the outcome of such. It's expensive, time consuming, time exhausting. And in short, it's just not worth it. Do you understand? That is why census may not be advisable, especially when we have a very large population. So the next one is referred to as your sampling technique method. Now, the sampling technique method is a process by which you take part of the population. The sampling technique method is a process by which you take part of the population, and you run a research or collect your data from it, and the outcome that you get from this sample is going to be used to generalize or conclude over the population. For instance, I have a whole lot big population, and because I know that it'll be expensive, it will be ambiguous for me to enumerate all of it. I will just recline to taking part of the population, and the part of the population is called the sample. The part of that population is referred to as the sample. In other words, the whole of it is referred to as the population. Now we can then define sample as part of a population, or better still, as a sample is actually a subset of a population. And there are various sampling techniques that we can embark on when we are trying to run a sampling techniques on a research, or while running a research. There are various of them. We have the random sampling, or the simple random sampling. You have the stratified sampling, you have the systematic sampling, and the likes of them, because it's actually categorized into two folds: the probabilistic sampling and the non-probabilistic sampling. And under these two headings are various techniques that we can use in gathering data for our research. Then again, the sampling probability, it's a case whereby you have your simple variable sampling with replacement, and that is without replacement. So this is just meant to give us an intro into what we're going to be having in our next class. Thank you for being a part of this. Please do ensure that you click the like button, drop a comment, a feedback, and also ensure that you subscribe. This is Matt and Startup. Thank you.